Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.
Good evening, Millwall fans. How are you doing? This is the unusual Wednesday at 8 p.m. Obviously, as you know, we normally do it at Tuesday at 8 p.m, but because there was a certain game on last night, we've decided to do it today. Loads to talk about. Obviously, we all know how disappointing yesterday's performance was. We will touch on the Preston game. I think, you're only as good as your last game normally, but I think Preston needs or deserves an honourable mention for certain players and who played well. So we will cover that loosely, and then we'll deep dive into to the Cardiff game. Without further ado, to my left, to your right, fresh from a hit, is the Sicilian godfather, Angelo Miliotto. How are you doing, mate?
Pew pew.
I see a bag of lime over your shoulder there and a shovel. Better put it away.
Yeah, apart from last night, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Recovered, just about mentally, yeah.
Oh, good stuff. And then below us, who's back to work now from his holly bops, it's Disco Steve. How are you doing, Steve? How's it life being back to a mere mortal and go back to working life again?
Yeah, don't take long, does it, to get back into the swing of things? And, as in true disco theme, I was on the highs of the last couple of performances, and then the lows. You can't know the other way around. Highs.
That's it, exactly.
Of last night. And look, time's a great healer. Last night was awful, and you start to get your head around it. But Jesus, what a disappointment. But listen, great to see you boys. Looking forward to a good show tonight.
Exactly. I reckon for the Halloween theme this month, the end of the month, we should get all dressed up. I think you should be wearing like a Bee Gees outfit or a John Travolta Saturday Night Fever outfit. Angela should be wearing like something from Sopranos or something, maybe, And I don't know what I'll be wearing, but I'll think of something anyway. But yeah, we should.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah,
we should do that. Anyway, let's get straight.
We'll get the guys to vote on what you should wear, Joe. How's that?
That sounds good.
Nice pink dress. I can see Joe in a nice pink dress.
Yeah, matches my lips. Let's go straight to the comments. Big E, how are you, mate? Evening, Joe, Angelo, Steve. As the last words from Joe last week was, see you next Tuesday. I know. Last week, and I thought you were calling us 8C. And it's now a Wednesday, so I guess he was calling Tuesday. Well, at least you weren't there. Hopefully you weren't there yesterday with your popcorn, Big E, mate. And you got the message that we weren't doing it yesterday. Cole Bracey, good to see you, mate. Only 24 hours late. I know, it's terrible, isn't it?
Oh, they're hard, aren't they? They're a hard audience.
I know. Oscar, how are you? Good? Hey, mate. Hope you're all right. What a shit show last night. I know, mate. I know. We will touch on that, promise you. Craig, how are you, mate? Evening. Oscar says only one step forward and 10 steps back. Probably not that bad. But I get where you're coming from. Jeff, friend of the show, how are you doing, Jeff? Evening again, Joe and the boys. How are you, mate? Miles, how are you? Hope you're well. Hope all's good. So we'll get back to the comments in a second. But first of all, and we'll go to Steve this time first, and then Angelo. Let's go back to last Saturday when we're all happy, coming away, singing Status Quo. Everyone's happy. I'm sure we all went through the misses that night, didn't we? Had a good time. Was it just me? I don't know. Well, anyway, talk us through that performance. It was a dominant win, weren't it, against Preston? What do you make of that?
Yeah, look, very impressive, Joe. Was really pleased with the result. We needed a win, to be fair, after what I thought was a similarly really good performance at QPR without getting the win. Add to that some real milestones, wasn't there, of Honeyman getting the goal and being over the moon with that. Then even that was surpassed with an absolute cracker from Esse. The bloody finish I thought was amazing. And his first goal at home. And then the real icing on the cake was obviously McCauley slotting one in the second half. And you think, Christ, we're really on a roll here. And I think everybody got a little bit overexcited. I think there was a balance. I don't think it was quite as easy as it probably looked. I think we allowed Preston to get back into it and took the shine off it a bit. The disappointment of Emakhu as well, which I think's come to bite us in the arse a bit as well. But look, really, really good performance. And you started to think, hang on, we're moving forward here as a club, as a team, etc. And I don't think all that is dead, even though dreadful last night. But yeah, hats off to the guys. Really good performance, good solid team performance, and got our just deserves of a 3-1 win.
Nice one, Steve. And obviously, Angelo, yourself. I mean, what did you make of the performance? And Steve mentioned about Macaulay Langstaff. What did you think of Macaulay Langstaff? I mean, I was listening to Nick's Upton Millwall show the other night, and Merv Payne mentioned that could Macaulay Langstaff be the next Jamie Vardy? You know, someone coming through the ranks, through the lower leagues, playing in the top tier. You know, could be playing the Premiership with Millwall hopefully next season. You know, what did you make of his performance and the overall performance of the Mill team on Saturday?
Well, Langstaff, let's just focus on his 2 starts, because they're 2 starts now. Let's forget last night for now, yeah? Up until Preston, they had 2 starts, 2 assists, 1 goal. What more can you ask for, mate? That's fantastic. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat myself. I echo everything Steve said about all the landmark goals and whatever. I don't know if I saw it the same as everybody else. I thought it was a good 55, 60 minutes. Because I thought after that, I felt like we just took our foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And then we were just plodding along, and then that's when they come into it a little bit more. So it was great. Don't get me wrong. I was gutted we conceded that goal. Again, we'll touch on Joe Bryan a bit later, but you know, the stupid free kick he gave away. But yeah, I thought fantastic 60 minutes, mate. Really, really pleased and happy for all the guys who got their firsts.
Yeah. And Angelo, also thinking back to Saturday, Esse scored his first goal at the Den. It obviously meant a lot to him. I mean, if you watch the Sky Sports interview he done, I think a week before, he talked about what it meant to him to score his first goal and how much the fans mean to him. And he talks about how the fans chant his name and like it gives him an extra 10% to try and perform better and put the skills on and try and entertain the fans. What did you make of Esse, his performance, his goal, and obviously his season so far for Millwall?
Yeah, fantastic, mate. You know, like I think I've mentioned this before. After the Watford game where he was awful, since then, mate, he's been fantastic. You know, he did take his foot off the gas after about 60 minutes, definitely. But yeah, brilliant that he got his first goal. Now the next landmark was get a goal at the Carbler Lane end. But yeah, brilliant, mate. And also Langstaff's goal was offside, but we got away with that one. You know, we were 2 yards offside.
We're due a bit of luck, aren't we, to be fair? I mean, often we get that kind of luck. And Steve, what's your thoughts on Esse's performance and, of course, his goal as well? I mean, is he becoming the player, the man that we thought he can be? Is he showing the right signs at the moment?
Yeah, look, we got to be careful not to get carried away. You know, he's 19, isn't he? Jesus, you know, but he's the real deal. He's the real deal, without a doubt. Hell of a lot to learn still. Don't want to criticise him too much, but I think last night showed a little bit. He started to get out-muscled a little bit and the ball getting stuck under his feet and what have you. But at the same time, first 30 minutes of yesterday, I actually texted, I think, in the group and said, feed Esse. Every time he got the ball, something was going to happen. And you know what's really interesting is you listen to pundits, even they had a Welsh guy on last night, didn't they? You know, bloody great, wasn't it? Telling us how great Cardiff were. But even he was really waxing lyrical about Esse constantly, wasn't he?
I heard that.
So other people are seeing it. And look, he's the real deal, without a doubt. So he's a real gem for us.
Steve, there was one sour note on Saturday, and it was the sending off of Emakhu. I mean, what did you make of it? I mean, firstly, you know, was he right to be sent off? Should a yellow been sufficient? And what was he doing at the time? I mean, you know, do you feel he lost his head? You know, what's your thoughts on that?
Look, in the modern game, it's going to happen, you know, and Jesus Christ, with that ref we had, crikey, he wouldn't be surprised that he gave a red card. How bad was he? But look, in the modern game, yeah, it probably was. But when you look at it, I have it's a mixed bag with supporters, but I have a huge sympathy with him. The guy definitely tries to trip him up. Whether he does catch him or not, I don't know why he'd go down because he was round him, or like the ball might have been going out, but I think he'd had the pace to get it. So I think he did touch him and he went down. Brady done a job on him, most definitely, straight into him, kneed him, you know, deliberately, little kick, little knee, and he reacted to that. And I still maintain he got up trying to chest him, And if you're going to do that, I guess you have to put your head back so that you're not going to have any element ahead. Let's not get away from Brady grabbed his face and went down like a shit. And that's everything that's wrong with the modern game right now. That was a pro getting another pro sent off. And they're the same countrymen as well, aren't they? You know, so really, I thought he was hard done by. He will learn from it and all that. But I will make the point, Joe, I've made it after the game. I was really disappointed with our players' reaction, especially Millwall players. We're normally in there as a group. He got shoved and pushed by 3 or 4 of their players before anybody jumped in and protected him. That was bang out of order. Yeah. He needed to be in there with him there.
I hope that's not, I guess, an image or replicates what Emakhu's about, Angelo.
No, I wouldn't think, but yeah, with that, especially being a youngster.
Well, that's it. You want that togetherness. You want the Millwall players to stick together and stuff like that. But Angelo, just to end this off, what's your thoughts on the sending off and the whole situation with Emakhu on Saturday?
Yeah, he's got to learn from it, mate. Once you put your head up against another player's head, you're asking for trouble. You're giving the referee a decision. Regards to the players not backing them up, but I know Steve was really angry about this in our group chat. The only thing that I can think of was that had the players started to retreat, like once the free kick been given, and they started running back to their positions. But it took ages for any backup to come. I think Wintle was it Wintle? He was the first one there. Then Saville appeared. But normally they're in there, aren't they? So, it's a mistake by Emakhu. And the sad thing is, when he come on, he looked lively, mate. Yeah. He looked like a spring in his step. But he will 100% learn from that, mate. And he won't be doing that again in a hurry.
Okay.
Sure.
So, guys, I've got 2 public apologies to make tonight. I'm going to do one now. I'm going to do one later. So, my first public apology is George the Honeyman. I'm guilty. I don't know. I'll confess. I was one of the ones giving a little bit of stick start of the season. I made a comment saying that I didn't think he, for me, is the number 10 we need that's going to make things happen. He doesn't score enough goals, doesn't create enough. But it's clear to see that he is pivotal in how we're playing. If he's playing well, if he's chasing, hurrying and pressing players, and making things happen, he makes us tick. He allows Esse and Watmore to perform and everyone else around him. Just a quick honourable mention, I guess, to yourself, Andrew, then Steve afterwards. How important is Honeyman and to this team at the moment and the job he's doing at number 10 role?
Joe, I was the same as you. I didn't like Honeyman in the number 10. I said that loads of times, but he's now started to contribute, isn't he? He was involved in every single goal against Preston. He's involved in every goal.
Which is what you expect from number 10, right? And that's all we say. We're not having a go at him. We're not saying he doesn't try as a bad player. We just want to see goals and assists.
And listen, on Saturday he scored. He nodded it on to Watmore, who then run down and put Esse through. And he's the one that deflected cross to Langstaff. Yeah, so he was involved in everything. Now I know we're going to come into the substitutions and all that later, right? Yeah. I don't understand, right? I've wrote it here. We took Honeyman off at 68 minutes on Saturday against Preston, and then the performance level dropped. And then last night we took him off at 62 minutes. Yeah. And I don't understand that. He comes across as our fittest guy. Never stops running, and we need him on the pitch, mate. There's no two ways about it.
Excellent point. I think last night you can almost see the reason why it was like a change of system formation going 4-4-2. And that was partly. I'm not saying
4-4-2, Joe. I felt that Langstaff was. It looked like just like the Serb was up front, and looked like Langstaff dropped back.
It's weird that you got Langstaff, who's not really known for being on the ball. He's more of a poacher goal scorer, but you asked him to do the job that Honeyman's been doing really well so far at the start of the season. So it's a bit of a weird one for me, but I think it's more to do with transition of play off the ball, on the ball. So we ain't got the ball. Then Langstaff sits into the 10, hurries and presses everyone down. But then when we have got the ball, he always wanted Langstaff to partner Ivanovic up front in a kind of 2-man, forward line, if you like, Maybe that was the thinking behind it. I don't quite know. It's just a bit of a weird one for Harris, that tactical change there. It didn't quite pay off for us, sadly. So that was it. So let's I feel like that's the good bit out of the way. Let's go to the bad bit. But that doesn't sound too great at all, does it, when you think about it? But we're going to go to yesterday's game, Angelo. And, yeah, a really disappointing performance. We're playing against bottom of the team Cardiff, bottom of the league Cardiff. A game that we should have won on paper. A game that we needed to win if you want to have any consistency and move up the league a little bit. What did you make of the performance, first of all? And we'll go to you first, then Steve after.
Yeah, it was dog shit, wasn't it, mate? There's no two ways about it, you know. But I know we all joke about it, but we why Millwall like that? You know, games that we're supposed to win, they'd scored 2 goals the whole season, not one. They got 1 point, and we rock up and fucking give them the 3 points. It's a fucking joke. I just don't understand how they're not. You know, they should be lifted to be playing against the worst team in our division. You know.
What did you make of the first 20, 30 minutes, though, Angelo? Before we go,
we was all right. We was all right. We're nothing special. There was some nice little neat passing here and there, but really any clear-cut chances?
Nothing I can think.
There was that one where Watmore scored, but stupid Cooper pushing the defender, so obviously we lose the free kick. And apart from that, you got Esse one cleared off the line, but you know he was never going to score, you know. And then he had that shot from outside the box, didn't they? Which he hit with some nice power, just needed to go left or right.
Yeah, he hit it too well, didn't he? It just went a bit central to the keeper.
I don't remember any others. Do you?
Steve, what do you make of the first half performance, particularly the first 20, 30 minutes before the goal?
Look, and that's slightly different to Angelo. I thought we were really good. We didn't quite look, didn't seem to be quite clicking 100%. But we looked good, and I did the unusual thing on another group chat that I'm on, and said it's coming. The goal's coming. I just got a feeling we're going to get one here, and then bloody hell, then they go and get that corner and score. So no, I thought we was in the ascendancy. Looked like we would score. We actually produced an absolutely fantastic move. I don't know if it was from a free kick originally.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
by the halfway line, it was a brilliant move. And they squared it to Casper on the edge of the area. And I've got to say, getting a bit peed off with Casper's shooting, to be honest. He missed a terrible chance against Preston over the bar. And then that one, he didn't even hit the target. Like the in front of the goal, it went off towards the corner flag. So he really needs to start practicing his shooting. But the move was absolutely fantastic. And like I say, there were signs of Esse when he got on the ball was clearly giving them problems, and they were scared of him, you know, and worried about him. But at the same time, Honeyman looked like he wasn't quite on it. The ball, he couldn't seem to control the ball, and a couple of good times he was through and it bounced off his shins or whatever. I thought Watmore wasn't really at the races. I can't believe he played the whole game, to be honest, because even though he had that chance at the end, but then he missed it. So there were quite a few of them were just off the pace a little bit, and it just wasn't quite clicking. But we were more than good enough to be going ahead. We should have been ahead at half time. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I remember sort of watching the first 2 minutes, thinking, "Geez, you can see like we are a team, you know, challenging for promotion here, and Cardiff are down there for a reason." But it just changed. Before we talk about the goal we conceded, let's go back to the chat. So these are all building up. I don't want to fall too far behind. So Carl Bracey says that was a very poor performance. Lenny and Esse arguing again. We're going to talk about that later, but you're absolutely right, Carl. That wasn't good to see in my eyes. Oscar said apparently Hutch is injured again. I read that as well, guys. I don't know whether you heard about that, but I'm guessing, was it like an under 23 game, or was it on training that he hurt himself? But he's out, isn't he, from the sounds of it? Jeff Cook says, good evening all. Good evening, Jeff. Hope you're well, mate. David says, evening, gents. Any idea what the Leonard Esse spat was about? We're going to touch on that, David, a little bit later in the show. David Turner says, evening, gang. Hope you're well. David Turner also says, Esse was moaning to the ref and not tracking back. Hence, Leonard had to take one for the team. Yellow card. There you go, David Stevenson. There's your answer. But again, we will talk about that later in the show. Carl Brace says, Super Neil Harris doesn't like him. Don't know why. David Turner says, seems Emakhu grabbed the players' nuts too. Maybe that's why they didn't back him meme up for the Preston.
Was that a genuine picture, or was that?
I saw that picture. I don't know how true it was. It was just one of these sort of like split seconds. He had his hand there for whatever reason. But it did look like he was grabbing it, didn't he? You know, the one he went down grabbing his head. It's the wrong head though. He was grabbing Werner, unfortunately. Miles says a bit too much from Lenny though. To be fair, that was to David Turner. Turner says shows passion from both to me. I mean, God, we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show, but should we touch on it now? I mean, Steve, what's your thoughts on that little spat between Esse and Leonard? It seemed to me that Esse had the ball, he lost the ball, and where it then fell to Leonard, he was complaining to the referee rather than playing the game. And that's when Leonard had a go at him, and he gave some back to Leonard. The next minute, Leonard saying to you, "I'll see you out in the tunnel." And I mean, I don't like seeing that stuff, especially amongst your own players. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it looked to me, I haven't seen it back yet. It looked like to me Esse went down very easily. And look, I think somebody said he got fouled, but it looked to me like he just went over very easily. The ref didn't give it. He got up having a moan, as he's tending to do, which I don't mind. You know, he's got a little bit about him, but you've got to concentrate. And as somebody said before, I think it was Dave said before, Lenny had to take one for the team because Mete was getting through, wasn't he? So he was peed off at that. So he had a go at Esse, fair play. Esse had to go back at him. He wasn't going to take it. But I think they should have then cut it very quickly. Yeah. It went on a bit too long. It went on. His passion. But yeah, let's sort it out in the tunnel, which I think apparently Lenny said to him. But didn't look good, did it? And you start to think, is there disharmony in the camp and that? I don't think there is. I think it was passion.
No, and Angelo, do you agree? Do you feel that's passion, or do you think is it a right thing? Are you for that or against that? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest. As long as they don't do fisticuffs to each other, I don't mind it. Yeah,
like the Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dwyer at Newcastle. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. And I've seen a few people say he shouldn't be picking on a little kid and stuff like that. Let's get it right. Esse's played 50 games now, yeah? He's playing men's football. It's not a little kid anymore, yeah? If it had been Esse's second or third game, then Leonard's bang out of order. But, 50 games, mate. And I'll make Lenny right because, what some players don't realise is referees never, ever, ever change their mind once they make a decision. How many times do they send someone off and then the player's standing there for 10 minutes trying to
argue the toss? That makes sense, does it? Yeah.
And that's exactly what Esse done. Esse went down. Esse thought it was a foul. The ref didn't think it was a foul. Esse, get on with the game, mate. Stop moaning. Get on with the game. Chase the ball back. And that's why I make Lenny right, mate.
Is that lack of experience, immaturity, Angelo, maybe? Do you think you'll learn from that, hopefully?
Esse, if you're listening here, mate, right? If the referee don't give it, get on with the game, mate.
Otherwise you'll see Leonard in the tunnel after.
Yeah. And I'll come down the tunnel as well.
and then Steve will be there as well, his platforms.
I was going to say, if Angelo was Lenny, then Esse would get back in the changing room and there'd be a horse's head under his clothes.
Exactly. He'd be there with his bag of lime and his shovel.
Listen, you just got to get on with the game, mate. You didn't get the foul, get on with the game, chase back, do what you
I completely agree. Miles says, Honeyman does so much more than people realise. Bloke does not stop running that. That was on our earlier point, guys. Jeff says, regarding Emakhu setting off, where was Cooper? He's not a captain. Last night, he was allowing players half his size to bully him. He was awful from the first minute and has been for a long time. Jeff, that's a really interesting point there. And I would also argue, why didn't he interfere in the Leonard and Esse spat? As a captain, him or Saville should have got in there amongst them, separated, so what the fuck are you guys doing? Get on with the game. Give him a bit of a slack, whatever. But they just seem too quiet and too settled and shallow themselves. Let everyone let the game just pass by without them, really, don't they?
I'm not sure they just seen it, Joe. They were quite close together, weren't they? We've got the camera. Players.
Nope. Steve, so your Wi-Fi, you're having a bit of a stroke there, mate. I was going to send Angelo round to give you mouth to mouth.
Is that me?
You're right.
You're turning a dialect there, Steve.
Yeah, you. I don't know, your Wi-Fi a bit funny there, and I know you're right now, though.
Sorry,
you're right now. Go on.
Sorry, it's all this rain.
You're right now. Go. What you saying?
Yeah, no, I was saying I'm not sure the other players. I'm not sure the other players would have seen it going on. They were quite close together, and the other players would have been back. So I don't know in terms of that. But interesting point from Jeff there about Cooper getting over for the Emakhu sending off. I do agree with that. You know, the skipper is the one who can talk to the ref, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah, but he didn't bother, did he?
But look, it's gone.
Yeah. Craig says, for some reason, we just looked lost last night. I agree. Alex says, if you think Cooper is championship level, you're delusional.
Cooper got a lot of stick on social last night and today.
For his performance,
a lot of people have hit him hard.
What they're saying, Andrew? What was the main thing that they're saying?
Just that, you know, he's giving away fouls. Just like not playing very well. He got a lot of hate. He got a lot of hate.
Chris Brown's in the chat. How you doing, Chris? He said we need a decent centre back in the January window so Cooper can park his ass. It's a shame. I mean, I wouldn't call it hate for Cooper at the moment. But these comments coming in, like Miles saying, liability Cooper. Craig said Cooper definitely is not a captain. They will be mates again on the coach going back. Yeah, I'm sure they will do. A bit of love for Cooper there. Carl Brace says, I love Cooper. I love Cooper as well, to be fair. I can see what he brings to the team. You know, I'd rather have him in the team than not in the team. And I think having Tanganga alongside him certainly makes Cooper a better player for it, you know.
I think we had... I'm sorry, Joe. Sorry, mate.
No,
he had a stinker last night, didn't he? You know,
he did
from start to finish. He got turned a couple of times. That messing about in the box. I know we're going to come on to it from corners and that.
Yeah.
Why we don't use him as a decoy? We've said it on here before. You know, some common sense. Get him on the edge of the box. He'll take 2 or 3 players with him, and you've got space in there for somebody to run into. You know, it's not rocket science.
You know what? You made a really interesting point. I was watching last night, thinking, why does Cooper almost sit on the goalkeeper? He has 2 defenders on him. Yeah, he can't move anywhere. All he does is just gets pulled from pillar to post. He never gets a penalty, even though he gets pulled and brought down. Why doesn't he start his run from the edge of the box? A bit like how Cresswell did when he played for us. Yeah, make those runs into the box. You've got more chance getting on the end of something, or at least disrupting something. When you're just standing there in the middle of the penalty spot almost, or even like in a 6-yard box, you make yourself one easy to mark. And there's no mobility, and that gets so clustered when that ball goes in. It's so clustered that if you do manage to get a head on it, it's never a clean header because there's so many bodies around. Whereas if the players were starting to run at the edge of the box, make that run into the box, I just feel there's a bit more space for things to happen. But I'm not the set piece coach, unfortunately, Steve. So
Joe, can I just touch on the set pieces? Right?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Has anyone else noticed, right, that have you noticed Tanganga and the corners? He just gets caught running round players.
Yeah.
Has anyone noticed that?
Or before the ball's been kicked, you mean?
Yeah. As the ball's coming over, he's like running. He's like circling a defender, and they grab his shirt, and he's never free. And it's like what you said; they're just tangled up too much.
It's just too congested.
Yeah, it's so messy. I really think they need to work on the set pieces, mate. Right. You know, Cooper, with all of his experience, right, he has to stop putting his hands on the defenders' backs, mate, because he's so big. You know, he's probably the one that the referees like keep an eye on. And as soon as he's pushing them, it's a free kick, isn't it, mate? Just so frustrating.
He's so obvious, Angelo, isn't he? He just puts his hands out and pushes paper. It's like,
and Tanganga needs to get into space. He's always tangled up with a defender. Always.
Yeah. No, I agree. And again, a lot of comments coming through again, talk about Coops and our set pieces and to David's point, we need a Williams type of corner, slow and looping and causing havoc in the box. I quite like the whipping ones, one that kind of get whipped in, because they're the ones you just got to get a little touch on it, and that's in it. It's a bit like, dare I say it, a bit like the NG goal last night, Angelo. I mean, what did you make of the goal we conceded, and of course Joe Bryan's marking there?
It's quite simple. It's just a lack of concentration, not doing your job properly. These guys get paid a hell of a lot of money, right? They get paid a lot of money, and all they got to do for 1 hour 30, 1 hour 40, whatever it is, they've got to keep their concentration at every second, mate. And he's lost his concentration, he's lost his man, and the guy gets a free header.
What was he doing, Angelo? Because I heard people say that apparently he was complaining to the referee about being pulled just before the corner was taken. His 2 occupied looking at the referee rather than the ball being kicked in, which then meant that NG left him and then run to the near post. Did you see that at all?
I didn't, mate. I can't comment on that. I didn't see that.
Did you see
that?
No,
I heard people saying he had his hands up appealing, which look, it happens, doesn't it? You get your shirt pulled, you get blocked, but that's what you just got to be strong, ain't you? And
but surely, Steve, surely you don't lose sight of what's going on. If a corner's coming in, you're marking somebody. Why on earth do you look away from the corner taker, look at the referee and moan about a player who then runs off and has a free header?
Crazy. Which like the Esse incident, isn't it? You've got to get on with the game.
Which I tell you brings me to my second public apology of the night. So those of you who follow me on Twitter might have seen me recently praising Joe Bryan in the last couple of days, saying about how well he's been playing this season, how much fitter he looks, how much better he looks. I mean, I thought he had a great game against Preston. Intercepting passes, it was a threat going forward, but he was shockingly bad last night. Shockingly bad. I mean, at least sometimes if he's having a bad game defensively, he offers something going forward, but he didn't do none of that last night. And what's really frustrating for me, and I hate it, is when I see him jogging back. There's so many times he'll get forward or he'll lose the ball or something happens and he's jogging back. And you're getting like the midfielders or even the people like Watmore tracking back and doing his job when he's just casually sort of jogging back. There was an incident, I think it was in the second half, where Jensen made a really, really good save. I don't know if you guys saw that. And to the point that I think even Saville made a block and he got injured in our box. And I looked around thinking, where the fuck's Joe Bryan? He's not there. And then I went to the action replay. It was a good 10 seconds later when all the play was over, the ball got kicked out, wherever it was. You then see Joe Bryan in the distance just casually jogging back. And in that box, you've got Cooper, you've got Tanganga, you had Leonard, you had Casper, you had Saville. I'm sure you had Watmore, someone else, but you had everyone tracking back, trying to fight. And then you got Joe Bryan up the other end of the pitch, just casually jogging back. Now, I thought the reason why he did that a lot last season, or I heard, was that he was carrying this injury all last season and he didn't want to sprint in fear that it could trigger the injury off and mess up his quad or his groin. Not sure what was wrong with him at the time, but he's had the operation done now. And I think you've seen him sprinting more this season, which has improved his game. But whether he felt a little tweak last night and it prevented him from sprinting back, I just don't get it, Angelo. I don't see why you got the ability and why you show like you don't care almost. Like, what's all that about?
I don't get it, mate. At Hull, he was fantastic. Apart from giving away that free kick where they scored against Preston, he was brilliant on Saturday. Absolutely brilliant. He done some crunching tackles. And then yesterday, he disappeared, didn't he? Just disappeared. And it's like that meme that goes about sometimes good and sometimes shit.
Exactly.
And that is literally Joe Bryan. The one thing is, right, last season he had injury problems. This season he must have a clear conscience that he's fit now, He's just now got to work on his consistency, Joe. There's obviously a very, very good player there, but he's cost us 2 goals in 2 games. Yeah,
he has, sadly, and that's the truth of it. And like I said, I was singing his praises. I was really talking about how well he's playing, how happy I am for him. But I tell you what, he let me down. He looked really badly. Let's go back to the chat very quickly, guys. So Craig Morgan says, why do we seem to always do the same corners up in the air for a mile, slowly coming down? Miles says, I thought we covered this one. Sorry, there's another one we had to catch here, which I missed. If I can find it. I don't want to miss everyone out. Just bear 1 second. Here we go. Dave Turner said, to be fair on Esse, he has been chopped down so many times the last few games. It's true. I think there's a stat out in the Championship where he's the most fouled player in the Championship, which is incredible, really. And there's 2 things I can see that. One is he's playing really well and the opposition clearly see him as a threat and they try to stop him. 2, he gives us so many opportunities to get free kicks in and around the box. Which is helpful, but unfortunately, we don't really make the most of it, do we, all the time, which is a bit of a shame, Where are we? So Gary says, no, won't happen. Cooper won't get dropped. Do you agree, guys? Do you not think that Cooper?
No. Look, I've seen a few other, and I know there's a bit of bad blood on Twitter about him. Look, he had a stinker last night, and he's always got in his locker. I've said it on here before. He turns slower than a bloody tanker in the ocean, and all that. But overall, I don't think he's been playing bad alongside Tanganga the last few games, and he had a stinker last night. So I don't think we should hold that against him. But certainly, we won't get much. After the end this season, we do need to be looking for new blood, don't we? Certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. And Angelo, to Chris Brown's point there, to Gary, okay, we take Cooper out of the team. Who are we going to bring in? Wallace. Like he's clearly not up to the level where he needs to be at the moment. What's our alternative?
And since Tanganga's come back, like you take them 2 Joe Bryan mistakes out, we haven't conceded that many goals, have we? I can't pin a goal on Cooper. I can't. He hasn't made a big mistake where they've scored from it. He's just frustrating the fan base with the fouling. But yeah, listen, I love Cooper. I wouldn't drop him because I think him and Tanganga got something going, and we are keeping the ball out a lot more than before. As a pair. And there is nobody else, is there, mate? There's nobody else. Nobody else.
No, exactly. And go back to Joe Bryan, Miles makes a good point here as well. Because the thing is, if you get a pacey, strong winger down that wing with Bryan, there's no chance. Do you think he's been playing better? Do you think he's been playing better there though? Again, I mentioned earlier about what you guys think, but I think he has improved this season. I think we've definitely seen a fitter, certainly more aggressive type of Joe Bryan. I think he mentioned it in the article, News of Den, I think it was, or Southern News, one of those, where he talked about the importance of crossing that line and what it means to become a Millwall player. He talked about being aggressive, whether that be on a training pitch or in a match. That's how he's got to play, and I think you can see that. But we need a controlled aggression, don't we, Angelo?
I think we've got high expectations from the guy because he was a very, very good Premiership player, and I've been really disappointed in his set piece delivery as well and free kicks, mate. I thought he would have pinged a couple of free kicks in for us by now.
I've just seen GC's comment there. England's #1 left back, remember, Joe? I think it was named Gary from memory. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on, mate. Like I said, I hold my hand up, apologise. I've got that completely wrong. Don't get me wrong, he's still a decent player. He's had a bad performances. He's had a bad game. There's no luck, him playing really well at Preston. You can't play well just out of luck. You've got to be good enough to do it. But he needs to be focused. He needs to be switched on. He needs to be hungry. He needs to be working hard. You can't have 9 players out there on the pitch running around, not during the goalkeeper, of course. 9 players around the pitch running around, and then he just casually jogging back, at his own time. What's that about,
For a bloke that drinks so much coffee, he shouldn't be losing his concentration.
Exactly.
He should be on
Exactly. He should be fucking more focused than anyone at the moment. Exactly that. Craig Morgan says that Honeyman and Saville stopped taking the free kicks. You know what? I don't know if you guys saw it, Steve. If you haven't, then I'll tell you what happened. There was an incident where I'm pretty sure Casper put Esse through. He turned the defender or midfielder, ran through, and then the midfielder tapped him and brought him down. He then got a free at the edge of the box. And if you watch Esse, and I'm pretty sure you must be watching this show because I said it on the last one. Why is he not taking free kicks? He went and grabbed that ball, brought it back, put it down. And I was thinking, yes, here we go, Esse. Go on, put it top bins. And all of a sudden, Saville sort of like moves him out of the way, takes the ball out. I think Joe Bryan sort of moved out of the way. I think someone else said to Esse, you can see him complaining, saying, I want to take it. And they kind of almost like overpowered him, like, no, and kind of moved him away. And I thought, fucking hell. So, of course, I think Honeyman takes it. Now, it did hit the wall when it goes out for a corner. And, he could have been a little bit more lucky. He might have gone top bin, Steve. But, where are we going to give Esse a chance at these set pieces? I mean, the kid can fucking do everything at the moment. I'm sure given the opportunity on corners and free kicks, I'm sure he can deliver a good ball and do that as well. Do you not think?
Look, I can't see how a guy of that quality won't be able to deliver a good dead ball. And it was interesting, the free kick they had, which was a great save from Jensen, by the way, who I thought probably was our man of the match, made some good saves and was reasonably solid all game. That free kick that they had, that, as somebody said to me today, the fella for them who looked like a woman. He played well. Well, he got in. He got confident, didn't he? And he got in the game. But he didn't strike it. He like flicked it, didn't he? He just sort of flicked it and curl on it. And Jensen had to make a good save. So you don't always have to have a real good whack at it, or a real, it's the technique, isn't it? You'd imagine Esse must have that, or someone in the team.
It was like a golf chip, wasn't it? It was like a golf. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you agree with the point about Esse, Angelo? What's your thoughts? Do you think now's the time to give him a go at set pieces?
Well, mate, we haven't scored from one. We keep hitting them over the bar, and Esse hasn't had a go. So let's see. I'd like to see Esse or Leonard, mate, because I don't mind like a low pole driver.
I love that.
Yeah, you get deflections, don't you?
Yeah. Especially when it's quite close. Sometimes, when you take a free kick, if it's too close to the 18-yard box, you need a little bit of distance. You need to get the ball up and over. And if it's too close, you can't do it. But in those areas, why not? Let Leonard smash it. I mean, the worst case scenario, he would injure a player, won't he? Smash their heads, they go for concussion or something, But yeah, I think something has to change. Something has to change there, sadly. Jeff Charles said, Jeff says, Steve, I know what you're saying, mate, regarding Cooper. Has been okay at times due to Tanganga being alongside him. It's true. I think Tanganga, I think me and Angelo joked about before, Angelo, I think even Tanganga made even me and Angelo look good playing alongside him. He's that good. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't. Even Tanganga didn't look as good last night to me. He wasn't terrible, but he just didn't seem quite on it, and it
quite his usual
ran
self
through the team, didn't it? It was like, geez.
Yeah. Rather than be a 10 out of 10, he was more like an 8, weren't he? He wasn't quite. I know what you mean. GC says, what has Wes Harding done? He hasn't really had a bad game for what I can remember. Absolutely spot on, Steve. I for one, would like to see him in the team. I think he offers something different to what Cooper does, a bit more athleticism, quicker. He's assertive, he's loud. You see him, he's very commanding. He talks a lot to the players, he's shouting. He's not the best on the ball, but then so's not Cooper. What's your thoughts on that then? What's your thoughts on that, Steve?
Interesting. When he came into the team last year, I thought Harding did quite well and looked decent. He then had a little bad spell, if I remember rightly. Was that before?
Cost us a couple of goals, didn't he, as well, from memory?
Yeah, so he went off the ball and then he never got back in. But
why?
He's had I don't know, and I don't think he's been injured, has he?
He's available. He's fit. I think there's times he hasn't made the subs bench just due to players. But recently, you see him last night. He was back on the bench. Angela, what's your thoughts on Harding? You think he's done? You think his time's done? Will he not get a look in? I mean, surely, if opportunity presents himself, he's back in the team, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's fine, Harding. He's an average Championship defender, but he can get goals at corners as well, doesn't he? Got 3 goals for us.
Did he scored 3 or 4 last season, from memory?
I wouldn't be crying if he started. Yeah, no. I've got no problem with Harding.
Ahead of Cooper, Angelo?
No.
Not for you?
I'm Cooper Tanganga all day long.
Yeah. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I think at the moment be difficult to split them two up. But to me, if Cooper starts a game like he did last night, and the first half, then there should be no problem saying I'm going to take you off and change it. Yeah. You can tell very quickly if he's on it or not.
Guys, a couple of comments in here. I'm going to go to Cole first. Interesting one here. So Cole says, I like to see Danny Mack instead of Joe Bryan. And then Chris Brown says, definitely put Danny Mack in. I mean, Danny Mack did really well last season, didn't he? Playing at left back for quite a large chunk of it. And although he didn't offer us a lot going forward, he's certainly done a really good job defensively for us, didn't he? Do you think it's too soon to bring him back? Are we not at that stage at the moment where we're kind of panicking and we're worried about it? Or do you think Joe Bryan is the clear choice for left back, Angelo? What's your thoughts on that?
Do you know what? On this note, I'm not sure about Danny Mack for Joe Bryan, but I think Danny Mack should have come in. And we might as well talk about it now, Joe. Yeah, like at the start of the season, I remember Chris Chapp saying we got the oldest squad in the league. Yeah, and since then we brought in some young players. Yeah, half of the squad, half of the team that played are around the 30 mark, isn't they?
Yeah,
your Leonard, your Saville, your Bryan, your Cooper, your Honeyman, your Watmores, yeah. And listen, I know this is a little bit of hindsight what I'm talking about, right? But freshen the team up, mate. Yeah, these 30-year-olds didn't. From what I saw last night, they can't go 3 games in 1 week. They're going to struggle. Yeah, we was having a big heated discussion about the youngsters on the bench. Yeah, your Masseys, your Kellys. Yeah, what my opinion is on all of this, Joe, is we was winning 3-0. We were comfortable after 48 minutes against Preston, right? Now, if I'm Harris, we've got a game on Tuesday night. We're 3-0 up, right? Let's make some early subs. Let's get the 30-year-olds off. Get some young blood on there. Give them some experience, right? And listen, it's a bit of a risk. Yeah, that we could bring on the youngsters, and you know what it's like. They get one goal back, then they get another one, then they fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes you've got to take the risk. Yeah. So I think at 3-0 up against Preston, we should have got the 30-year-olds off, mate. Now we took Romain off after 77 minutes. Why take him off? He's 19. He apart from that game at Bristol City where he had cramp, he's been fine, mate. Yeah, he's looked fit. Yeah. We took Langstaff off at 67 minutes. Langstaff has only played 2 games. Keep him on.
He's a fit lad as well. He's a very fit lad, isn't he?
Yeah. Take one of the others off. He took Lenny off at 76. He took Duncan off at 68, which is fine. And he took Honeyman off. Like Honeyman, he's probably the only 30-year-old that I reckon can keep going and going and going. But
was Honeyman the last one for Murray Wallace when we were down 10 men, I think, weren't we? And he's trying to go defensive from memory, unless I'm mistaken. Was he?
I don't know, mate.
Yeah, because I don't know whether that moved him out. Didn't he? Brought Wintle in and put him in the 10.
Yeah, maybe. He put Honeyman on the left, didn't he? And then I think took it off. But you're right though, Angela, to your point, why make those changes so late and not the right changes either?
And also, Joe, do you know what I would have done last night, right? And a little bit of hindsight, right? I would have either took Savile out or took Delore out and put one of the youngsters in just one of the youngsters.
To start.
Yeah, to start. So
right, okay,
put Massey in, put Kelly in, and then you've got your experience on the bench. If it goes tits up,
good point.
You bring the experience on.
Absolutely.
But, and we was having this discussion where they're not ready. When are they going to be ready? Put them in. Let's have a look at them. Yeah. We're playing bottom of the table. They've scored 2 goals for fuck's sake. Yeah. We need to freshen it up, mate.
Yeah.
And I think Harris made a mistake with the. I know people call him his mates, like with the 30-year-olds. I just don't think we managed it from the Preston game. I think the error started in the Preston game. I think we should have got some of them off. We're 3-0 up and we're at home. Get some of them off, mate.
And while we're on that point, guys, I was going to mention this later in the show, but I might as well mention now we're touching on it, is does he keep the same team for West Brom on Saturday? Because to your point, Angelo, if you're going to rest players, you do it against Cardiff, who are struggling, who are low on confidence, bottom of the league. Now, the trouble is you expect him to play his strongest team on Saturday, but then for the 5th or 6th consecutive game, how many games it is now, he'll be starting the same team that started against Cardiff, who looked quite flat, but needed a little bit re-energising. But he can't do it. He can't throw the youngsters in on Saturday, can he? Away to West Brom, who won the last 5-6 games at home, haven't they?
You've got one extra day to recover than what they had from Preston to Cardiff. Yeah, you've got one extra day.
Good point.
But, like Honeyman has now played 68 and 62. You add that up, that's like just over a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it 130 minutes? Yeah.
Good point.
So he should be able to go for 90 for sure.
True. Absolutely.
I thought Savile looked leggy. There was a little run back when he was chasing back and he looked slow and he looked leggy. He needs a rest.
He looked slow, not just physically, but I think mentally. There was times when the ball would come to him. I think he got caught a couple of times where he would just hold on to it too long or didn't quite release the pass quick enough and he might have lost it again. Or, it's a shame. But don't get me wrong. I think having him in the team on that pitch makes a huge difference to the rest of the team. Yeah. I think they enjoy him playing with him, Steve. But what you find with Savile is that he hasn't quite got the legs that he once had. I think even Harris mentioned it in a recent interview that he's not quite athletic as he used to be, or mobile, whatever. Do you see the argument behind playing him, Steve, on Saturday? Do you feel we should rest him, maybe bring a younger player or even a Wintle maybe to kind of freshen things up for us? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I think what Angelo has said there is bang on right. But I would balance that. And look, in hindsight, I think you're right. As one of the youngsters in midfield would have been an interesting start. But in fairness, Angelo, you start and we go 1-0, 2-0 down. We'd be going fucking mad, wouldn't we? Saying, why hasn't he changed it? A winning team,
True.
but we got to understand that. Hang on, you've got to game manage here and squad manage. So
absolutely,
Steve, right? But we're playing Cardiff, bottom of the league, scored 2 goals. If we were playing Leeds or Burnley,
or West Brom,
no chance.
That's what I was going to say.
Playing Cardiff, who scored 2 goals.
He's got to be a bit more bold.
Who've got a caretaker manager, they're low on confidence. Even their fans on social media were dreading playing us, saying, why, this is the worst time to play Millwall, we're going to get battered, and against those southern, Londoners, whatever. You hear it all on social media, but the team turned up and they just didn't perform. To your point, they were just very leggy, weren't they?
We did the first 30 minutes, and then
we did.
So look, a difficult one. So I sort of it's a difficult call for Harris. Look, that change that you said, Angelo, a central midfielder might have been a good shout. Danny Mackin for Bryan would have probably been a good shout, but that would affect the way we play. True. Bryan does give us an attacking threat, which Danny won't.
Especially Bryan plays so well, Steve, against Preston as well.
Exactly, but he did cost us a goal. And Angelo is right with, in the modern game, even though it's namby-pamby, bloody wrap 'em up in cotton wool football players, because they don't earn a lot of money and it's a short career, etc. Poor sods. But no, look, these managers manage it, and most teams we play make 2 or 3 changes every game, and they've made 2 or 3 changes. We don't seem to do it, So I do think we need to be a bit more bold with that and use the squad. But going back to your original question, West Bromwich Albion, I'll put it out here now. It will be exactly the same team, 100%.
Yeah.
And because we really need a result now and can't risk it. 2, there is an international break, isn't there? So just go out and give me fucking 50, 60, 70 minutes and then I'll make subs if I have to. But I can't see him making any changes. Maybe Danny for Bryan, because 2 games now he's cost us goals.
Do you know what? The chat might go mad, right? What I'm about to say. We could have even put Wallace at left back last night.
Well,
we could have put Wallace. We could have put Wallace at left back. We could have given Bryan a breather. We could have given Bryan a breather. We could have put Danny Mack at right back. Give Lenny a breather. If it goes tits up, bring him on in the second half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Excellent point.
But you lose the game, Angelo, he would get pelters. But we've lost the game anyway. So
that's the thing. It's hindsight, isn't it? I mean, if he plays the youngsters or the fringe players and we get a result, then great, But you're right, Steve. I think if we end up going 2-0 down in the first 10 minutes, everyone will be calling for Harris's head. What the hell are you doing? Why change your winning team? You can't win, can you, either way, can you?
You're the manager. That's why you paid the big bucks. Just going back to the youngsters, look, I do understand we can't, put them in too early and all that. But I'm a great believer, and I know a lot of people out there will be. If you're on the bench, you should surely be good enough to come on and play a game of football at some point. Or why are you on the bench? It's crazy. In professional football, come on.
Absolutely. Which just going back a little bit, guys, the half-time change. Obviously, we're a goal down. We're going at half-time. No doubt Harris is probably giving the right act, going mad at them, telling them, listen, we've got to buck up our ideas, we've got to get forward. But we just saw a completely different style of football, Steve. It's very different to what we saw in the opening 20, 30 minutes. And we end up going a bit long ball, hitting, ridiculous balls up to Langstaff that weren't going anywhere near. He couldn't control anything, What was your thoughts there? I mean, was that a bit of naivety, stupid of us to sort of play that sort of way? Should we have gone back to just playing our football, keep the ball on the floor? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, look, having watched that first half, I genuinely thought we're going to come out, we're going to play like the first half with a bit more intent and a bit more tempo. And look, 5 minutes in, let alone 10 minutes, you knew we ain't getting anything tonight. They were the better team. They gone into the ascendancy. And as you rightly say, our tactics had totally changed to just going long ball. Now, whether there was mixed messages, at half time, I wouldn't imagine, you'd have thought it was very clear we needed to play to our strengths, which is, fast attacking, high tempo football. And I was really disappointed he didn't change it quicker to just look, it's not working. It's clearly something wrong. Let's change it, and not one sub or 3 subs on, bang. Let's try and make the difference here.
Freshen up, yeah. What do you make of that, Angelo? That kind of change in style of formation or play, what you want to call it, second half. It didn't work, did it?
I think that's probably what's pissed everyone off about Cooper, because he just kept launching these balls, didn't he? He just kept launching and launching. It's all right, I suppose, once the Serbian kid come on, but yeah, I don't know why we went that route, mate. I don't know what happened there.
Well, the first half, we're playing through the lines. We're playing some beautiful football. Yeah, coming through Casper and through Saville and play it through to Watmore and Honeyman, linking play up. We looked so good, the ball on the floor. But second half, it's almost like, right, with the last 5 minutes of the game, it's like we're all panic. And the balls kept going long, and Cooper kept launching it forward, and Leonard kept launching it forward. And we're almost like bypassing our midfield again and going straight to the forwards and losing them, you know? It's just really disappointing, because at that part, you should be saying to yourself, you know what? We've got 45 minutes, guys, a long way to go. Let's play our football. Let's do what we're doing in the first half. Be patient, and it will come, you know? But it didn't quite sort of pan out for us, did that way.
Look, and it wasn't as if Cardiff suddenly started pressing us differently or put us under real pressure as such, was it? It was almost self-inflicted. It was really weird.
Exactly. Guys, I want to ask you a quick question. So obviously, you know, this is 8 games gone, 2 wins in 8 games. We actually now lost half of our games played. We've lost 4 games now out of the 8, which is not great reading. Angelo, what's your thoughts on the kind of the meltdown on social media with fans at the moment? I mean, you know, there's a lot of people moaning and kind of bitching about Harris and this, that, and the other. I mean, I'm sure half of these fans were Harris in a week ago against Preston, but now they're kind of turned again, you know? I mean, are they being quite fickle, or what's your thoughts on that fans meltdown on social media at the moment?
Well, one thing I'd like to say first, right? I know we've been a little bit negative tonight, but you know, like when they say, don't get too high when you win, and don't get too low. We think the world's coming to an end because we lost to Cardiff yesterday. You know, let's remember it's our first really bad performance in the league.
True.
All the other performances have been decent, mate. Yeah.
Even the other losses, I thought we played well in those games. Yeah.
So, you know, believe it or not, I am still very confident. I'm just so disappointed that, you know, that we've gone to the bottom of the table and just put that kind of show in. But regarding the Harris haters, you're always going to. I think you got that at every club, haven't you? You got your percentage of fan base that don't like the manager. I can confidently say that I reckon a good 85% are behind Harris and Harris in. But
I think so.
Listen, you know, take away last night, mate. We've been playing really well. It's exciting football. We're looking forward to going down to watch our club again, and hopefully we'll get a much better performance on Saturday, mate.
Yeah, I feel for Harris. You could see in his interview yesterday, like how pissed off he was, how annoyed he was. One of the things he mentioned, Angelo, and I don't know if it's a right thing or wrong thing. You touched on this earlier about giving youngsters a chance, but he made a point of almost attacking the younger players, he called it. He talked about the players coming on and the younger players not quite delivering and not doing what they needed to do. And there's a lot going around social media where fans are saying that why is it that the likes of Saville and the likes of Cooper are being protected? Now, I'm not saying he should be thrown under the bus. You shouldn't throw any player under the bus. But the fact that he mentioned about the young players specifically that are not doing what they need to be doing and they need to kind of like pick up where they are. What do you make of that? I mean, it just seemed a bit weird for Harris to come out and say that. You not think?
Which players is he talking about? The ones that are in the first team or the ones on the bench?
Well, he didn't mention any players' names. He just mentioned about young players that are coming in that are more or less like not taking advantage. Now, I thought. Well, I thought, but then Emakhu didn't play yesterday. But I thought, is he all about Aziz maybe?
He's injured, wasn't he? He's got injured in the under-21 game.
But he came on, didn't he, yesterday?
Yeah, I know. But what I mean is, he couldn't have played before that. He was injured.
Well, what I'm saying is, this was after the game yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was, and he mentioned about the young players not performing or not doing what they'd be doing. You know, not doing the right things, and automatically you're thinking, well, who can we talk about? Esse? But then for me, Esse is probably one of the best players yesterday. So again, in the chat, guys, because I think we're a little bit unsure, if honesty. If you guys seen that please put it in the chat.
Is it a TV interview?
He mentions that on there, guys. Put it in the chat because unless I've dreamt, maybe I had a bad dream last night.
I think he referred to youngsters having to learn, to play in those games.
I just thought it was uncalled for.
Like, hang on a minute, why are you digging out the youngsters? I'm not sure he was, but that's how it's been perceived.
Because for me, he should have been digging out the likes of Saville, the likes of Cooper, the likes of Joe Bryan in particular. These are experienced, seasoned professionals. If you're going to have a moan at anyone, stick the finger at those players. He should have been saying, you know what, we've got experience in that team. We've got mature players. They should be leading by example. They should be. But he did mention that. He mentioned about the young players. I just didn't quite understand. Again, guys, I don't know.
Do you think he's justifying always playing the should we call them the 30-year-olds all the time?
Maybe. But again, guys, excuse me if I dreamt it and I'm making all this up, then fuck me, I apologise. But I swear
third public apology.
A third public apology tonight. I'm pretty certain. But guys, please back me in the chat until I didn't make this up. Let's go back to the chat because it's building up again, guys. So where are we? Miles says, we're so lucky to have Tanganga top level in the championship. Mate, I couldn't agree more, Miles. I think he's good enough to play in the Premiership, in my opinion, to be honest with you. Hughesy, how you doing, mate? Said, biggest change last night was return of the hopeful punt, pass and hoof. We did very little of the quick, accurate pass we did on Saturday. And I'll even say the first 20 minutes, Hughesy. It wasn't what we enjoy watching. Mighty Lion says, just wish we take them on appropriate sides, to be honest. Why the fuck is Honeyman taking a free kick on the right-hand side and Bryan Saville is on the left? It's true. I mean, I can quite half understand why Saville hasn't taken it and Bryan, because they've been pretty bad in the last few set pieces. I mean, sure, one day one of those will go in. So I can see there's a change needed. But to our point earlier, Mighty Lion, we were saying, why not give Esse a go? He's left-footed. It's on the right side for him to sort of do it, but didn't quite happen. Paul Llewellyn, how you doing, Paul, mate? Good to see you. Hope you're well. He says, evening, gentlemen. GC says, Rooney took free kicks at 16 for Everton. Maybe Esse needs to grow a pair. Just tell them he's taking it. Well, GC, if you saw him growing a pair against Leonard yesterday, you saw the outcome there. He was offered out by Leonard in the tunnel, weren't he, afterwards? So maybe there's that kind of hierarchy thing at Millwall where, unfortunately, if you're a young player, you just got to do as you're told a little bit, which is a real shame. But, to your point, GC, I completely get where you're coming from. Rudy took free kicks at 16 years of age for Everton. Esse's now 19 years of age, guys, So I can't see why he can't get a crack. David Turner says, surely if Esse was killing the free kicks in training, then he would be taken. He didn't take free kicks in the under-21s. Really good point, David. I mean, for all we know, maybe he's shocking, or maybe he's not even getting a go in training. Who knows? Like the power shift at the club. We don't know how that works, do we? Venom says, do you think Cooper should still be captain? I don't see much leadership on the pitch. Guys, do you want to answer that question, either of you two?
I know Angelo's got.
I've always said it should be Saville the captain, mate. But Saville doesn't like doing. Apparently, there's a lot of other stuff you got to do off the pitch, and Saville doesn't like doing that. So, really, who else is there? You got Leonard. Who else is there? We do
Honeyman. I mean, Honeyman was captain for Sunderland, weren't he? I'm sure he was captain for Hull as well, weren't he? So he's been there long enough. It's his third season now. I think is it second or third season. So. Dave Skinner says Haaland's bad spell was under Joe Edwards. In fairness to him, and he was being asked to play as a prime Maldini with no long release balls allowed. Haaland should 100% be first reserve at centre. But I couldn't agree more with you there, Dan. Oscan said, did you see Harris post-match interview about youngsters need to step up? Was he referring to Esse? It wasn't a dream. It actually happened. Oh, my God.
Oscan, I reckon that's what it is, mate. I think he's justifying leaving the older players in the team.
Do you think so?
I really do.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Almost like a sort of like indirect sort of compliment to the older players and why they're playing. And I mean, if that is the case, that's terrible, really. But Oscan, cheers, mate, for mentioning that, because honestly, I thought I was losing my mind there for a second. Jeff said, yes, Steve, to be fair, even Tanganga was off it last night.
Not terrible, but he wasn't on as sharp as normal.
Not as usual, yeah. Craig Wall says, don't most of our players have bad spells? Give them another chance. Yeah, completely agree, mate. Venom says, what's your opinion on Cooper being captain? I've never seen any leadership on the field, and there probably comes across the fans like proper captain should be, in my opinion. I think we touched on that earlier. I think Angelo alluded to that he didn't see him as an out-and-out sort of captain. Dave Martin, how are you, Dave, mate? Evening, gents. Got to watch it back. Well done, Joe, for hosting. It's my pleasure, Dave. Hope you and the family are all good. Paul says, first bad league game of the season. Unchanged team for the third game in a row, but if Harris had to change it and we lost, we'd all be moaning, but you could see the tiredness in midfield. Paul, absolutely spot on. I think I mentioned it earlier. The guys agreed as well earlier. That's the dice you're throwing, isn't you? It could pay off for you, and they'll be saying what a great mastery that was. You play the youngsters, we've got a result, we've rested players, but it could backfire terribly. And I think that's where Harris sort of played it safe a little bit with the tried and trusted players, unfortunately. Gary says, our team will not be able to play like Harris wants them to all season. We need to mix it up, give it a go while the season is still young. Yeah, not a bad shout. Paul said, would have liked to see Kelly, but we really missed for Billy as a ready-made option. I think that's spot on. I mean, I don't know how far away we are from Billy Mitchell returning. Someone said he's actually started training again now, so I think he's probably about a couple of weeks away of that.
Yeah, Joe, I think after the international break, I think they'll all be back, mate. Are
they?
Yeah. So you'll have Maya, you'll have Emakhu one more game after for his suspension.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you'll have loads of players, mate.
Really good point.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be the time when we can sort of freshen things up, and I think that's desperately needed, but we'll see. Carl says, in Super Neil Harris, I still trust. Craig said Langstaff in the last couple of minutes was there a cross or a shot that went out.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
he tried to whip it. He tried to do that whip, and it went, typical of the night, wasn't it? Bloody hell.
Venom says Wintle actually looks decent when he comes on. I've also heard a couple of players spoke quite highly of him in training as well, apparently. So he's certainly a player who the players get on with and like. So that's probably why he's getting little appearances here and there through Harris. But yeah, we probably need to utilise him a bit more.
That was a big blow last night that he couldn't play against his parent club. If we'd have been playing someone else, he'd have definitely either started or certainly come on a lot earlier. So good
point. Miles says, love Neil, but he's posting if you worried me speaking about around the youngsters. Can't go too hard, though, especially when JB's vision is to develop the younger players. Got to play them more to begin with. Absolutely spot on, mate. And another one who's giving me a little tick there. Venom says, not Wallace. Craig Morgan says, have we now got 6 or 7 squad players out now? I think we counted. I think if you listen to Chat with Chaps post-match recording earlier today, I think it's out. If you haven't seen it yet on YouTube, make sure you look at it. He alluded to the fact, I think he counted about 6 or 7 players that are out at the moment through injuries or suspension. So it's pretty bad. And guys, while we're at it, if you're on here at the moment and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Click on the like button as well. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help the algorithms. It helps the channel massively. And as you know, all the proceeds that goes to this channel for Chat with Chaps, all the profit goes to Cancer Research UK. So yeah, if you could do that, guys, it just really helps with us making more money for Cancer Research. Craig Brown says, Wallace at left back, LOL. Yep, I am mad now. Venom says, what was shocking was Esse playing in defensive midfield when we were all trailing the game. I know. I think, Venom, to be honest with you, I think Harris was going so attacking at that point, going 4-4-2. He thought by taking off, I think it was Saville at the time, wasn't it? Then moving Esse in midfield with Casper. I thought he probably was thinking about Esse playing more like a number 10 role still and just kind of really going for it. But you're right. It almost got to the point where he was having to defend. And suddenly you got him in the wrong end of the pitch, didn't you? Defending rather than attacking, sadly. Dan Skinner says, in hindsight, last night would have been a chance to make a couple of changes and defo a change of the system. No high press needed. Cardiff ain't playing little passes across the back line. 90% of the championship do. Miles said, ball was just bounced off players in the second half. Venom said, please, played well in every other game. Give Harris time. It's still a rebuild. The only young player last night was Esse, and he was our best player. So it's a confusing one. It doesn't help the club. Doesn't put out the full interviews. It's true. And that's why I thought it was really strange again, guys, to Angelo, to Steve, why would he say that? Because it just didn't quite make much sense, you know.
Yeah.
Jeff said the problem with you three is you all talk a lot of sense. I was worried there what you're going to say there. I was like, you might have noticed I was reading that. The problem with you three. And I was like, what's he saying? Like, you know, you talk a lot of sense. Great debate. Another great show. Again, boys, bless you, Jeff. Thank you very much. And Jeff, message me on Twitter if you can. I think it must have been you who reached out to Chaps about doing something for him. I'm not going to say what it is, but yeah, let me know how that's going, mate. We could definitely do with your help, mate, and your expertise. Miles said it was, post interview, Joe. If you find it on Twitter. Cheers, Miles. I'm going to try and look that up after this. Chris Brown says, don't think Harris is the Messiah everyone thinks he is. Okay. Oscan says, correct me if I'm wrong, but last night was our first midweek league game this season. What my point is, when you have 3 games in a week, you have to rotate, even if it means bringing youngsters in.
I agree.
Absolutely correct, Oscar. Oscar. But I think also the reason why Harris brought all those players off against Preston was with one eye on the Cardiff game, but it didn't quite play the way it's supposed to, because even Angelo said, you know, Honeyman comes off at 62, 68 minutes, whatever it was. Surely he should have been fighting fit. He should have been out there, you know, playing one of his best games of the season, but he looked really flat. He didn't look very, very good either. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? Venom says, didn't come across in the right way. It cut off and you have to pay for the full interview. I have subscribed to that, Venom, which I think, you know, is £5 a month, which I'm paying for that one. So I will definitely look back at the full interview and maybe we can sort of catch up with this next week.
That might be the issue, Joe, because I have watched the full interview and I didn't get the impression he was digging out youngsters. But look, maybe I've missed it. I thought he said something like he did say youngsters. I might be wrong, so I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah. I think we'll have a look back at it and see what it's all about. Hughesy said, I thought the youngsters' comment was about the subs that are not yet ready to start in the Championship. Okay, that's interesting. But you look at the youngsters. Who are we talking about? Massey. We're talking about Kelly. I mean, these guys haven't had a chance apart from the cup game against Leighton Orient. They haven't really sort of played. So how can he be calling the players that are not actually in the team or actually performing? It just seems a real weird one. I don't know. Craig says, never been Chopper out, never been Chopper in. Who else are you going to get? Excellent point, Craig. Vera said, you see the article where he was happy with Lenny bollocking Esse? Really?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Did you?
He said he doesn't mind all that. Yeah, he doesn't mind it.
Really?
As long as they shake hands afterwards.
Yeah. He said he loves the fashion.
So is that shake hands after they've gone in the tunnel and Leonard's chinned him? And then you shake hands with you then? I mean, fuck me. This ain't 1985, is it? What is going on? You know? Jesus Christ, Harris. Dan Skinner says, sounded more like the reason he didn't use Massey, Kelly, etc., as in the youngsters players aren't ready to be thrown in last night. I think Harris meant. So you think that could be meant, guys, that maybe he's alluding to like training, maybe not quite delivering on the training pitch. Who knows? It just seems a bit of a strange one to me. Oscar said, don't be surprised if Harris drops Esse on Saturday.
No chance.
I'll be very shocked if he doesn't. And
I'll tell you what, they will go for him if he does that.
Yeah, and Carl.
With an international break coming up, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. You've got to be playing your best players, and even Carl says here, Esse is our best player. I'm making right. Andy says, thing is, Harris is getting us to play good quality football. He could have stuck with the parking of the bus like he did last season and get results, but clearly he's trying to give the fans what they want. He's trying to play entertaining football, and that's what we all wanted. You know, we were happy just to suck it up last season for survival, and we all wanted this football this season, and we got it, you know, so we can't really complain. Alex S, true to form, turns up in injury time. Evening, fellas, late again. Sorry, Alex, mate, I don't know what you're doing, whether you're working like shifts at the moment, working late, but good to have you, mate, even if it is for the last few minutes. Andy Herbert said, Sod's Law lose to bottom Cardiff, and then go and beat West Brom. Typical Wall, absolutely, guys. I mean,
they've lost 2 on the trot now, West Brom, haven't they?
They have, although are they 2 away games? I heard, not home. Apparently, they've got a really good home form.
They lost at home to Middlesbrough.
Oh, they did, didn't they? 1-0, wasn't it? Last night, of course it was. Yeah, bloody hell. So yeah,
Joe, on that point, was talking to somebody earlier.
Yeah,
I know it is typical Millwall, we've got to drop that, and we've got to push through that. It really pisses me off now. We've got, we're investing. Aziz was nearly $1 million, wasn't he? 2.5 million for the Serb.
Ivanovic, 2.5 million, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't be doing this anymore. We've got to kick on, and be more solid, and consistent.
Yeah, and Chris agrees with Andy. No doubt we will beat West Brom and then lose the next two. Alex says, don't want to get on Aziz's spat yet, but I'm struggling to see what he brings to the table at the moment. Good question for you guys. What's your thoughts on Aziz? I mean, I know it's unfair. I think he's only started one game, isn't he? I think that was against again Lorient, where he rested a lot of players. But what do you make of him so far? I mean, can you see what the hype is about? Is he showing you anything at the moment, any spark that is giving you a bit of confidence in it, mate? What's your thoughts on that?
When I saw his YouTube reel, I was very, very excited. Hanging in his goals with his left foot.
But again, to my point, you watch my goal at the Den, and I look like bloody a prime Tony Cascarino, don't I?
He gets that in every week as well, doesn't he?
Everyone looks good when you put your highlights reel out, although my highlights reel lasts about 7 seconds, But
it's horrible to dig the guy out because he's not had, apart from that cup game, he's not had like a proper start. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to dig him out yet, mate. I don't want to dig him out yet. But there's been a few bits where he looks a little bit slow.
Yeah. And especially when he comes on, sorry to interrupt you, Angela, but even when he comes on for Esse, where Esse's a bright spot, he's quick, he goes past a player, he's quick. And then when you obviously get Aziz come on to replace him, you notice the slower speed and not quite as good. And it's hard for Aziz to try and fill Esse's boots, I suppose, sometimes when he comes on that right side.
But the thing we've got to remember, right, is that apparently our recruitment team were looking at him for a long time, and Steve Gallen's were looking at him for a good. So there must be a player there. Maybe just got to give him some time, mate. Give him some time.
Yeah, I wonder if he was the player that Harris was moaning about, because he was the only young. Well, he was the only young player that came on that didn't perform that great. Yeah. And again, I'm looking at Aziz thinking. I remember looking at it last night, thinking like, what are you doing? Like, what are you bringing? Like, there's no energy, there's no fight or zest about you thinking, this guy's going to come and turn the game around for us. So I wonder whether Harris meant that. But then to call out one player, it just seems a little bit off to me. It just seems a bit weird, doesn't it? Oscan, my only real criticism of Harris is he never gives youngsters a chance. I think, Angela, you mentioned it early in the show, about that. Alex S says Coronation Street is on a Wednesday night. Joke. I don't think you're joking. It's either that or you watching Married at First Sight.
My missus is into that at a minute. Australia,
is she? Well, it's the English one, isn't it? Is it the English one at the moment?
Oh, is there? We haven't got to that.
Not that we're watching it much, Angelo, but I was joking with Angelo before I come on tonight. Actually, I was rushing around because I was watching recording of Married at First Sight with the missus. And I'm looking at the clock thinking, right, I've got to get on the old laptop, get things moving. She goes, are you going to do the dishwasher first before you go on there? I'm thinking, fuck. So sort of throwing these plates in like fucking some sort of like Greek
you are a true modern man.
Plates like that, exactly. And I had to rush over and obviously log on to get us on at time. So, Married at First Sight. Highly recommend it. Dave says, hello, guys. My mate is a Reading fan, and he says Aziz is very hot and cold and a bit of a dummy thrower. Okay. So, interesting there. So, I mean, you could probably see, you could kind of put the pieces together a little bit, can't you? You can see that he's not quite consistent enough. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes with him and Harris? Maybe he's having a bit of a moan at Harris for not starting games. And I know Harris is probably thinking, right, you've got your chance, show us what you can do. And he's not, I don't know.
I thought I heard rumours he was a really good lad and, working hard, training well. I don't know where I heard that now, but seemed official rather than...
I heard that as well, Steve. Yeah. I heard that well. I mean, again, we can't...
I don't want to dig the guy out, but I think like Angelo says, he's just not give us anything yet, is he, that makes you think, there's a player there. So
once he scores a 25-yard of his left foot top bins, then I'm sure all will be forgotten, and then we'll be all behind him, wouldn't we? So he needs that bit of luck. Alex says, and why were we so exposed down the left at times?
Mr. Bryan.
I think Mr. Joe Bryan, Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, Alex. We mentioned that earlier. If you were here, you would have you would have been here to fucking hear us talk about it. I'm joking, but no, we mentioned that earlier. It just seems really sort of lapsy daisy. You know, he's a bit lethargic at times and inconsistent. He had a great game, didn't he, against Preston, lads? I thought he was on it. You know, he was intercepting balls, getting in, aggressive. But then last night, he's like half the play wasn't on on Saturday.
It wasn't just him last night. There was loads of them that were on.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. We shouldn't be just picking on him, but fuck it, I want to pick on him. Chris Brown says, can't see Emakhu getting back in any time soon. Harris will give him the Harding treatment. I hope not, Chris, but you know, I hear where you're coming from, mate. Andy says, makes sense why Harris was happy with Lenny boarding out Esse because he likes players to reinforce his vision and his passion. Yeah, good point, Andy. Good point. That's all right, Alex. I'm only joking, mate. Only joking. Dan says his highlights reel was 4 of 30-yard screamers. It's true. Only effort so far has been toe poke at the QPR. It's still early days for him. Absolutely. Guys, we touched on it, you know, a little while ago, but let's just finish off on the West Brom. Angelo, West Brom, are they beatable? Are we going to see a reaction this Saturday from the players? Supposedly, we're guessing it's going to be the same team that started yesterday. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. Listen, it's good that they've started to lose a couple of games, so you know, obviously that should give us a bit of confidence that they are beatable. And I think you will always get a reaction from a Neil Harris team. He promised us a reaction after that Leyton Orient game, and it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
We come out far in the next game, so it's. I'm looking forward to the game so we can get this game out of our brain, this Cardiff game out of our brain, because it was horrible. But yeah, we can definitely listen. If we get a draw up there, I'll be happy, mate. Yeah.
Excellent. And Steve, what's your thoughts on Saturday? And are we going to see a reaction, hopefully, from our boys? And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, bloody hope so. Look, it's a tough game. There's no two ways about it. Don't think we have a bad record there. And I do think there's a lot in that. Get the grounds where you normally can get a point or a win. I've not seen us win there, but I have seen us draw last 2 times. So I'm going Saturday.
Yes.
I think, like Angela, I think it'll be a draw. I think we'll nick a draw, or not nick. I think we'll get a draw. But again, last night, so frustrating because had we won that, it just totally took the pressure off. We could have gone into that game, you know, relaxed. And actually, I think we'd have nicked it with them losing 2. But I reckon a draw, which is a decent result. But don't really want to lose it. Going back to your point of 4 defeats out of 8, it's not great, is it? You know,
it doesn't make good read, does it?
Would be concerning. But if we keep playing like we have most games in the first half yesterday, I'll be happy continuing like that.
Yeah. Well, I think we now lost more games in this short period than we did the whole of Harris's tenure end of last season over the 13 games he was in charge, weren't he? So. That sort of tells you what it's all about. What do you make of Marja, Steve? I hope I pronounced his name right. The West Brom striker. Do you know much about him? He used to play for Sunderland, didn't he, years ago? He went to Fulham and went abroad. He's come back. He's currently the Championship top goal scorer with, I think, 7 goals. I think at the moment, 7 goals in 8 appearances. Obviously, what more? Yeah, he scored what 5, I think, at the moment. Isn't he? So he's doing reasonably well himself. But is he going to be a threat to us, or do you think we're going to deal with him?
Is he one of those that we were rumoured to be interested in once when he did? Or am I dreaming that? It's a name. Might have just been one of them throwaway in the transfer windows. But I'll use one word to sort out Mr. Madger or Magga, whatever his name is.
I know you're going to say here. Go on. Exactly.
He'll have him in his pocket. Don't worry about that.
And Angelo, for you, mate, what's your thoughts on that?
What about what more? Should he have scored that one last night? Right?
Was that a back heel when the ball was cut back to him? And
did he even have time to turn and shoot?
Well, that's what people were saying on social media. I think they said that he could have took a touch and turned, but I think had he scored that back heel, everyone was saying what a great little goal, little back heel, cheeky back heel. But unfortunately, the back heel went straight to the keeper, didn't it? Almost, it was a bit of a wasted effort.
I think he could have even slotted Langstaff in, believe it or not, tight. But I think he could have.
Well, he was crying for that ball, weren't he? You're right. Good point.
I'll say there, I thought that was a bit of a lazy. I know it's cheeky. I thought it was a bit of a lazy, tired attempt. You know, it was a great chance. And Ivanovic did well there, to be fair. Really well to get the ball, didn't he? Across to him.
Exactly. Oscan, we go for predictions, guys. Get your score predictions in the chat before we wrap up. Oscar's going for 2-0 Wall. Andy says it's a shame. It's there for Emakhu on a plate to do just what Esse has done and win a first team place. Absolutely spot on. The opportunity is there, Andy. You're absolutely right there, mate. Cole says you lot watching a lot of bullshit. I'm watching Villa versus Bayern. I hope you're enjoying that, Cole. Better than fucking last night, anyway, for sure.
That's 0-0. It must be boring. It's 0-0.
It must be, yeah.
Hey, have you seen the text? Have you seen the text? Stoke 6, Portsmouth 1, apparently.
Really? Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's shocking, that is. That is shocking. Dave says, I can't believe people are moaning about losing 1-0 yesterday. If any team at the bottom of the table bang in trouble, loses 7 on the bounce, just play us and you'll get a win. It's always the way. It's a guaranteed win, isn't it? Alex says, typical Jed and Swift are back in favour just in time for our game. Oh, don't, mate. Don't. Chris Brown says 1-0 win to Millwall. Langstaff to score. Esse playing on the left to stay away from Lendog. How funny is that? I just hope they kiss the maid up. Dave says, Cole, it's you watching the bullshit. Dave goes 1-1 West Brom. I'll go for 1-1. Alex S is going for 1-1. The big fucking Serb to open his account. Let's hope so. Get in there. Dan says 1-1. The big fucking Serb late equaliser, heading after coming on as a sub. Hughes is going for 1-0. Jet to break our hearts. Oh, mate. I hope that doesn't happen, but I can see your point there, mate. It's a realistic thing, isn't it? Wow. Preston 3-0 versus Watford. Fuck me. And my mate from Watford, he's actually drove up there tonight to watch that game, especially. Wow. So, Ricky, if you're listening back to this, I feel sorry for you, mate. Andy went for Millwall 3, West Brom 2. So, what's your predictions, guys? So, what's your prediction before we wrap up?
1-0, mate. 1-0.
1-0. Who's score?
I'm going to go for the Serb, mate. I'm going to go for the Serb.
You go for the BFS? How about yourself, Steve?
Well, to not be boring, I was going to say 1-0. I'll go 2-2.
2-2. There you go. I'm going to go for a 1-1, and I'm also going for the big fucking Serb to get the equaliser. So, guys, that wraps it up. Appreciate you guys joining us. It's been an excellent live. Really enjoyed. Lots to talk about. Lots of comments in the chats. Guys, don't feel too down or disappointed over yesterday's performance. It's a one-off game. I thought we've done all right this season. Let's not base our season on one game. Hopefully we could turn it around on Saturday and bring back the 3 points. And just get behind us and keep it all positive. So thanks to Angelo. Thanks to Disco Steve. Guys, really appreciate your help as always. And we will see you next week on Tuesday, back to Tuesday at 8 p.m. for our next live stream. So guys, enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the game on Saturday if you're going or if you're watching the stream, and we will see you soon. Take care. All the best.
Night all.